Hi team! We are doing another weekly video. This is going to be the week of Tuesday, the 13th through Tuesday, August 20th. Awesome! So I hope you enjoyed last week's video. I really enjoyed making it. I'm just shuffling here. I am working on editing the first of the major arcana meditations, guided meditations. That video with the teaser will be posted soon, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, take this moment to subscribe. That way you will be kept up to date. All right, so I've go ahead and I shuffled. I'm going to cut the deck into 3 piles. All right, stacking them back together. And we're starting with Aries. Queen of Wands. I love this card. I especially love this card for you, Aries, because it's fire energy. So we're in Leo season, which is also a really fiery season. And when I talk about fire energy, I'm talking about like passion, creativity, enthusiasm, sex sometimes, you know, but anything that really feels like really life-giving, right? Something we feel really fueled. So that's the kind of fire energy. Queen of Wands is one of my favorite cards, which I feel like I say with like every card. They're all my favorites, I guess. But what I like about this queen is her real magnetic personality. So this week, Aries, really feel like you're just stepping in with grace and ease. You know, any kind of hiccups that you've had, I've gotten some feedback, you know, particularly around communications and that kind of stuff, just trusting that you are walking into a new week. Try to let the stuff that happened in the past, you know, be there in terms of like information, but not letting it inform your actions. So just keep living your truth. Things are going to happen a lot easier for you than they have in the past. So just trust that. Don't question it. Just be like, okay, cool. Suddenly all the resources I need are there. That's awesome. And with this card, because it's just, you're so magnetic and people are so attracted to that and want to help you and want to be around you, sometimes those people who are drawn to you aren't always the best people for you, right? So just be really good about your boundaries. If you don't have time for someone, just because someone wants to spend time with you doesn't mean you have to spend time with them, you know? That doesn't make you a bad person at all. So just accept the grace and ease that's coming to you this week, and also make sure that you're maintaining your boundaries and protecting your energy. Okay, great. Taurus, 4 of Swords reversed. This feels like you're coming out of a nap. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like super upcoming energy, or maybe it's like you are entering into this week, right? And you're feeling a little bit tired, but you're not needing to totally go into this kind of internal resting place of meditation, of kind of the minor version of the hermit. That's not what's necessary in order to move forward this week. It just feels like you need to pause when you're feeling tired, right? Of course, honoring your body's boundaries, because your body is a great teacher. And if you drink caffeine, you know, continue to do that. You don't really have to do a whole lot to change it. It doesn't feel like something you need to fix. It's just about acknowledging, okay, I'm tired now, or wow, I really thought I could commit to that project, but I just can't, you know? And really, this week practicing just honoring what comes up and not thinking that you have to fix or solve anything. You're just doing your thing. What's great is, you know, bodies are kind of like an automator, you know, like you plug in the function and then it just does the thing. Bodies are doing so much rendering in the background already. Rendering of thoughts, you know, you have these swords here of thoughts and beliefs. You've probably, you know, maybe you're learning a lot of new things or have been confronted with new information that now you need to process. That's what feels true. You don't have to put in a lot of extra like legwork. Just let your body do what your body's going to do. And this idea of like when mental consciousness is expanding, I think this is Rebecca Campbell's idea. When mental consciousness is expanding, your body needs time to catch up. So just letting your body react however it's going to react. Okay? Lovely. Gemini. Judgment reversed. Big time. First major arcana this week. Good job. It just shows me that there's a lot going on for you. Excuse me. I don't see judgment as ever like end of days, like you've been, you know, bad, you've been good, like any kind of evaluation in that sort of sense. I see judgment as a wake-up call. If you pay attention, you know, this angel's blowing this horn and all these people are awakening from, you know, death, which one could think of as a deep sleep or a change of consciousness, right? In a dormant phase. So what are you being woken up to this week? You know, you might have a big revelation and it feels like it is not exclusively personal. This could be you having a reaction to, you know, the news cycle or to some news going on in your family, or something, you know, yeah, on a world or national scale. So if you're able to make time for that, to receive that information, I feel like the information and the revelation is going to find you, however you are best found. You know, I think that life has a funny way of when we need to learn a lesson and when we need to know something, right? That information is being delivered to us in the way that speaks to us most. So just pay attention to what's coming through for you. Let yourself be changed, understanding not all this change has to happen at once, but just be open to the things that are coming up, and probably doing some kind of journaling or writing it down or having a conversation with a trusted friend or a roommate or something like that, because you're going to want someone to witness this with you. And you're going to want to feel like you have people on your journey. So be sure to open up and share with people that you feel comfortable with. Great. Cancer. Queen of Swords reverse. Again, I really do say this with so many cards. This is one of my favorites, but it's true. So Queen of Swords is a card of great boundaries. It is also a card that asks us to carefully reflect and make sure that we are acting in balance. So Queen of Swords rightfully cuts people out of their life who aren't in alignment with their integrity, right? She's not afraid to say no. It's funny, I almost put on a pin before I started this video that says it's okay to say no, which is absolutely true. And the cautionary part of Queen of Swords is wanting to make sure that you're not leaning so hard into the isolation point of cutting everybody out, you know? But I don't have a sense, Cancer, that you are likely to cut everyone out completely. And if you are, it seems like you're acting from a defensive place of being scared, and that just means you need to turn inward and process a little bit more. If you are... if you have a therapist, if you have access to that resource, maybe, at your next appointment you want to talk about boundary stuff, or, with a trusted confidant or something. Definitely boundaries are going to come up, and it feels like it's both a replay of maybe some past situations coming up where you're like, oh, okay, I recognize this. Here's how I'm going to respond. And also a rehearsal. So just a practicing of getting these skills, not feeling like the tools are really rusty, cleaning them off so that if you need them in the future, they're readily accessible to you, you know how to use them, and they're in good working order, right? It's just like checking a fire extinguisher. They have a tag on them that says, I was inspected on this date, and they do this every so often. Doing that with your boundary setting tools is going to be good. That will make sure that you know that you can, trust yourself and trust how to use them in order to enact them. All right? Okay, Leo. King of Swords. Look at that. So the difference here, well, one of the differences between the Queen and the King. Queen is internal processing and King is external processing. He looks so intense. His little face. And then has all these butterflies behind him. Love that. So with Kings, there's a kind of social responsibility. It's recognizing that when we make a declaration, when we make a statement of any kind, right, it has ripples and it sends the ripples out into the world. Leo, this is your season. All eyes are on you. And there's a lot of pressure of like living up to other people's ideals and ideas of who you are. You might be, you know, in your bold declarative way, saying some new things that people aren't expecting from you. Maybe you've come to some new conclusions about your identity and you want to, you know, come out and say those truths, which is great. And you don't have to be in that Queen of Swords space. This is kind of the defensiveness I was just talking about with Cancer, the potential for that. You don't have to be in that defensive space of assuming that people are going to turn you down or not be supportive. Just be confident in knowing this new truth and knowing how you feel about something and trusting your ideas and just moving forward from there. You don't need anybody else to co-sign your decisions. I know we can get into this place where we really want that, but you don't need it. And so just practicing saying things, even if they aren't popular, sitting with them, being like, yeah, is that how I feel? Cool, I'm going to do that. All right? Excuse me. Virgo, 10 of Swords reverse. So 10s, we've been getting a lot of 10s in my videos lately. So if you've been following along, you know that 10s are a sort of choice point. We get to continue the same pattern or we can change it and change our behavior and try something new. So 10 of Swords, super dramatic card. Love this during Leo season. It's like, yeah, one sword would be enough, but I need 10 to prove my point. This is like exhaustion, like mental exhaustion, just feeling like totally overwhelmed. That's what a lot of the 10s are, is just, there's such an intensity there that can lead to overwhelm. And so with this card, the lesson is about surrender. So when we reach that point of total exhaustion, there is this opportunity for just that breath, you know, that final breath of being like, okay, I'm ready. There's the white flag. Let's move forward. And because it's swords, it's around your thoughts and communications. And I hear it as like a lot of mental self talk this week. So Virgo, you're like reaching this point where you're like engaging in your normal behavior, and then you say something to yourself and you're just like, seriously? Are we on that again? Are we doing that again? No. Or yes. I mean, the option is yes, but I'm encouraging you, if you're engaging in negative self-talk and it's to the point where you're just like, this is not who I am. This is not how I treat myself. I'd encourage you to take this opportunity to pause, reflect, and to change. And it's progress, not perfection, right? So just taking the small steps, asking for help, you know, doing a little bit of reading, talking to people, just a lot of openness, again, for pretty much all the signs, just bringing people in, having conversations with people, not doing this work in isolation. I know, Virgo, that you have the propensity to want to do things with a lot of, you want to do things right, which I admire, and relate to. And this card is saying it comes to a certain point where you can't think it through to the point of completion and perfection. Sometimes you just have to let go and let process take over. So Virgo, I'd encourage you to just take stock of what kind of inner thoughts, your inner dialogue, what's taking place this week. Consider if that's something you want to continue, if you want to move forward. And then if you're in the space of trying to control, like overthink things that haven't happened yet, to just breathe a little deeper, let go, trust, trust that time is moving you in a direction that's going to be helpful. Okay? Libra, another 10. 10 of Pentacles. It's interesting I said that 10s have this potential for overwhelm, and it's just this intensity of emotion, right? This card is visually so dense. I know there's a reflection, but hopefully you can see it. Just so dense with pattern and texture and color and layers. It's the experience of having a lot of ancestral knowledge coming through. Lately I've been feeling really connected to my grandmothers, and they've passed away, so their energy has been really present with me, and maybe you've been feeling some awareness and openness to people who have passed on as well. If ancestor work is part of your spiritual practice, lean into that a little bit more. If it's not, and it's interesting to you, maybe go to the library, check out a few books. There's tons of YouTube videos about this, obviously. It's a great resource. I encourage you to look into that as well. But there's something else here for you too. I'm just looking at this older figure who is present but is looking off, and the little kid kind of is too. So it's just, you may be feeling like you are in the present moment, but there's something that just isn't quite, you're like in your body, but you're not fully in your body. Trying to get a little more clear on what that means. You are, it could be two things. It could be like in terms of like depression, where you kind of feel just like a shell of a person. So if you're feeling that, please take care of yourself. A lot of self-care, opening up to people, just saying, hey, you don't have to fix or solve this. I just need to talk to somebody. That can be a good opener in case you want to do that. And it's also like, I see this person as like seeing through the veil of like connecting to like the other side, and to connecting to people who have passed on, and to seeing, what insight is available to them, because this person is a bringer of knowledge and of wisdom in this circumstance. And so are you, to both yourself and the people around you. It's a lot of responsibility, and that can be overwhelming, but you needn't take it all on, okay? So just knowing when to tap in and then when to come back to your body. And you can do that at any time. So just a practice to maybe look into if you're feeling called, okay? Scorpio. King of Pentacles. Reverse. What I like about this card is his suit that he's wearing beneath these lush robes. You are very experienced in both getting your hands dirty and in experiencing lushness and just having like, a break. And you deserve both. It feels like you're moving into a season where you are really feeling yourself connecting to your body more, connecting to your surroundings more, being outside more, experiencing the abundance of nature. And there is also this like itch to engage in something that's like a little dirtier, take that as you will, like a little bit like, you want to get your hands dirty. You want to be doing some heavy lifting. You're really used to doing a kind of internal exploration, or other people revealing things to you and getting to sit in that like deliciousness of intimacy, you know, when people are revealing secrets or you're dealing in kind of like shame space or whatever. And so you may be feeling a shift where you can't fully enjoy, you know, it feels very summery. You're not really feeling summer to the full degree. You're kind of ready for fall and all of the kind of like esoteric spiritual meanings of what fall means about turning inward and dealing, you know, with death and processing and those kinds of things. So you're just in transition here. So don't blame yourself if you're not feeling 100% all the time. That's totally cool. You are acknowledging the shift in seasons and the shift within yourself. And that awareness is priceless and very important. So just stay aware and try to just experience without judgment whatever shifts may be happening in your life. Sagittarius, Knight of Swords. With this card, always trust your own authority. You are launching into this new space of your life where you're feeling a lot more free with the way that you're communicating. It's not that you don't have a filter, it's that you don't need to filter with as much like those privacy settings that parents used to put on their computers, you know, when kids were young, like, and they just put a lot of keywords, right? You've held yourself back from communicating some things that you really don't need to. You've recognized like, wow, I don't need to experience shame around this, or yeah, I actually do want to talk to that person about this thing. So you are just in this space of learning to trust yourself again, and trust your ability to communicate, and that you will know boundaries and you will understand when you need to enact those, but just getting back to letting yourself be your own authority around what to communicate and when, and not using somebody else's filters for your life. Love it. Capricorn, Page of Wands. There is a curiosity here in this person's gaze of this wand of like, wow, I saw this thing, it was available, and now it's in my hands, and now I'm doing something with it. Like, cool, people are trusting me to do this. Like, I have the opportunity to do this. You might feel some imposter syndrome coming on, that you're in this new stage and you're stepping into something new, but just trust that you are in exactly the right place and you have access to the tools that you need because they're being made available to you. Because what you have to say and what you have to make and create and all of these things, and the processes that you have to engage in, are necessary for your growth. And your growth is valuable not just to you, but to other people, right? Because when we focus on ourselves and we develop ourselves, we can show up better in community. And that's really the focus that I'm hearing for you, is that you're doing this work for future enrichment in general. And the thing is with the page, you're just at the beginning. Do not have the expectation on yourself that you need to have everything figured out and that you need to be at the King of Wands stage, right? That would be impossible, and you frankly would not be good at it because you're not ready. And that's okay, right? Removing this structure, I'm feeling a little bit of panic about saying, oh, you're not going to be good at it. And it's like, no, what I'm saying is you're perfect for where you're at right now. You are perfectly suited for this stage in your growth. This curiosity and wonder, let that propel you. Let your curiosity, fuel the questions that you're going to ask so that you can be more engaged with your surroundings. And a lot of learning is coming up for you. You're in the perfect place, and I'm so happy that you're doing the work. You are awesome. Aquarius, 10 of Cups. Wow, we're getting all the 10s. So continuing this theme of like potential for overwhelm, just because it's intense, right? There's so much pressure that we put on ourselves when we think that this is peak happiness. Like, this is it. I should love this. Like, I've been working towards this goal for a really long time. Isn't this the thing? And yeah, you may feel a real sense of pride for having this goal and finally completing the goal, or doing the thing that people expected you to do. Sometimes it's nice to feel like we're fitting into something, There's no shame in that. But with, you know, with the rainbows are ephemeral. They'll change. They'll go away. That doesn't mean that what you experienced or what you worked towards wasn't important. It just means, okay, you had that one experience and now we're moving on to something else. I'm getting the sense that you really need to take a pause. Do not barrel through from one success immediately into work, even if it's just taking yourself out to ice cream. Like, please just give yourself a breath. And also, like, have the ice cream and then maybe do a little journaling about where you want to move forward. Do not assume that your goals have remained the same during this time period, because you've undergone intense growth, you know? Like, these people experienced pregnancy in order for these children to come forth. There was so much that happened. Honor that, acknowledge that, celebrate yourself, rest, move forward, okay? Superstar. Pisces, last but not least, got the Eight of Pentacles. You are working so diligently. Even though these are pentacles, I'm feeling that this is really in the emotional realm. Like, you've been developing tools on how to address your emotions, right? Being really intentional about the language that you use, about the books that you read, you know, bringing in information that's sourced from people that you trust and saying, cool, yeah, I do want to work on that. And what's great about this card is that all that work that you're doing is finally starting to be able to be seen by other people. You know, it's starting to be recognized. So you're starting to get that external feedback, right? Eights are really transformational cards. We enter in one way and we leave totally different. You're in it and you are not quite through the process, but you are absolutely, like, in the last quarter, you're moving through it. And really just give yourself a pat on the back for doing all of this work, because it hasn't always been easy and you have not always had the best role models in this work. People that you could turn to be like, yeah, I can trust them. I can, you know, model myself after their behavior. You know, that's been hard for you. And the idea of being that person for someone else, of being a role model for someone else, is kind of intense, right? You're not quite sure how you feel about that. But recognize that no one is ever done learning. It's all just progress, right? We're all just working towards it. So if you become, you know, if you become a person that someone looks up to, right, and is turning to and asking for advice about something, and you're like, ooh, but I'm learning it, that's okay. Just tell them where you are at in your process. You don't have to be perfect for yourself or for other people, okay? All right. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Superstars, all of you, every single one of you. I'm going to do something, I don't know, I feel called to pull a card for all of us. The moon reversed. Major Arcana here. This has been some weird sticky energy. It just feels like there's something going on. You can't quite put your finger on it. You interact with someone, you're like, they seem off. Or is it me? Do I seem off? You know, we're just all kind of swimming in this weird goop or walking through this haze. The good thing about the moon is that conditions change, right? When the sun comes up, the haze is burned off. So all of this is just temporary, the stuff that we're navigating. So it's kind of feels like a retrograde in that it's like, wow, I just have a lot of questions and information, but I'm not feeling like I can act on it. This week, make sure you're asking your clarifying questions. Don't move forward, especially in emotional conversations, assuming that you have all of the information, right? Always ask for clarification. And if you're on the receiving end of questions, right, don't take it personally. Don't, act as if like, hey, why is this person giving me a hard time? Just like acknowledge that it's happening, and say, cool, they just want to know more so that we're on the same page, right? If you're entering into any kind of emotional conversation, yes, just ask for clarification, breathe, don't make assumptions. We're getting through this. It's not a bad card. In fact, it's teaching us a lot of lessons around communicating and making sure that we are, checking in, and moving forward with the information that we have available to us. Okay? Woo! Appreciate all of you. Thanks for being on my team. I will see you in another video. Have a great week, okay? And comment below and let me know how this resonated with you, or how last week's reading resonated with you, how everything unfolded, okay? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.